So I'd like to thank the council for this opportunity to present this year's State of the City. Obviously, all of the things we're going to talk about in the presentation are a combined effort of the administration and the council working together. And I also want to compliment the council, being my last State of the City, that people told me that my vision for having an administration and a council that could work together diplomatically, professionally, and not like we see in many other places, could not be done. And together, we've been able to accomplish that for the past 16 years. I'd also like to thank Miles and Jared for always helping me with the videos for these presentations, and they do a great job with that. First thing we're going to talk about is projects, additions, and improvements in the city. That is a video of the 9/11 memorial at the property just south of Medina Fire Department, number 1. For the public that may not be aware, we got a piece of the Twin Towers. That's that steel piece you see right in the circle there. And we looked at numerous locations in the city and ended up with this and created a little park as well as a billboard to show how it all came together. The next project is the Medina County Board of Developmental Disabilities purchasing a mobile changing unit for city events. And I'm proud to tell the council, well, first we're trying, we've sent it to all the people that host the city events, and we try to park it in the same place each and every time, so that just like the public restrooms, when people come and have needs that have to be accommodated with this, they know where to find it. Sometimes that's not possible because of food trucks and some other things, but we do our best. But just to give you an example, at Art in the Park, we had 33 people use that unit that otherwise possibly couldn't have been at Art in the Park. And that included 8 children, 8 seniors, and 17 adults. Next is the Bicentennial Commons, where our public restrooms are. You can see the fountain there that Murray and Sue Van Epp donated to us. In the corner that was just passed is the Bicentennial bench that they also donated. We called it Bicentennial Park because by having it as a park, we can draw state resources in to help us with some of the improvements that we did, the fencing and so forth. And that's been a great addition to our downtown. Next is the dog park. We moved our dog park from Memorial Park, where we had roughly 2 areas and 20,000 square feet, to Mellert Park, where we have 3 areas and 33,000 square feet. And you can see each of them are different sizes and different things for the dogs to do. They're adjustable, and it's been very well received in the community. The next project, the video will catch up with me in a moment, is the Miracle League field. I want to spend just a little bit of time there because there's a little bit to talk about. So originally, as you look at that, only the infield had the turf. So if the participants were in a wheelchair or a mobility device, they couldn't play the outfield. They had to stay on the infield. So they approached the foundations, Lincoln Foundation and Stevenson Foundation, and those 2 foundations paid to turf the outfield now, so every player can play every position regardless of their disability. And what a great testament to our community. We also put up the home run fence there. The next project is the Medina RC Raceway at Reagan Park. And I didn't realize this was possible. They didn't talk to me during vocational day at high school that you could be a remote control racer and have a profession out of that. The same with the Frisbee golf course. Nobody shared that with me in high school, which is probably just as well because I'm probably not very good at either one of those. But again, a lot of people come from all over the region. to use this Raceway Park at Reagan Park, and they're also exposed to the other amenities that we have there. We reopened the Medina Municipal Pool. Now, some of these, maybe I should have clarified that at the beginning. Some of these are during my term as mayor versus just in the past year. But the pool, I know, was very important. Murray and Sue Van Up, again, paid for that water feature, the mushroom there, the zero depth entry. And some of the members of our community are only able to go to the splash pads or the city pool because they simply can't afford the rec center. So this gives them an opportunity. And it's been so well received, we had to add more chairs. We added additional trails and bike paths, including with the North Court widening. We added lighting along East Reagan Parkway. And we've really coupled well with the county park system to go around Medina Lake from East Reagan Parkway from North Court Street, and then now there's plans to go through the SUMA property and then down to the Roscoe Ewing. We've built 2 parking decks. The latest was right outside City Hall here with a $1 million state grant that we coupled with $3.1 million of city money and established a TIF so that future and current development could help pay us back that $3.1 million that we invested. And some of that development has occurred, and some of it is still forthcoming. That shows the concrete being laid on the upper floor. And the other thing we did in the community with Jansen's help is we placed over 70 of these decorative flower pots, which is just a welcome and a nice appearance as visitors come into our community. Anywhere within the historic district, they have to pass these large flower pots, and it speaks very highly of our community. Next, we're going to talk about serving our community, and really staff is what makes things happen. And I'm thankful and proud of them every day. We changed when I took over as mayor, or shortly thereafter, to opening City Hall Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. Keith was cooperative in opening the finance window as well. We then had to do a promoted positive customer service, and I took the community policing model from the police department and converted it over to what we're calling a community government model now, where the entire city staff is responsible for the look and the appearance of the city and helping people that need direction or whatever it may be. And it sets a proper example. We ask our leaders to set a good example for others to emulate. And it reminds me of a quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson that says, "What you do speaks so loudly, I cannot hear what you say." And really it's all about showing them what you want them to do, being the example yourself. And that's been a great deal of our success. We reorganized City Hall to put planning and zoning, building and economic development all in the first office in the door. We worked with Dan then to start issuing next day permits when possible. Same day permits when possible and next day permits if not possible for some of the smaller projects. And Dan has been very good at finding solutions versus obstacles, and has really helped us achieve this. Next is promoting our local businesses. We opened the Acme Fresh Market. That's the groundbreaking right there, and they opened just a few weeks ago. When we do our ribbon cuttings once a month, we generally have something each and every month of the year. We combine them ribbon cuttings with Main Street Medina, the Chamber, the City of Medina, and then our local government officials. Some of the council members attend, the county commissioners attend, and our state representatives, that's why we have them on Fridays, they will attend too, provided they're not in other meetings, because they're generally not in sessions on Friday. And we're fortunate in the City of Medina to have such a vast diversity of businesses and industry. So if you take some of these other communities that have like a large automaker or a large steel plant, and then that industry goes away, they're going to have to lay people off. We have such a broad diversity that if one or another of our businesses have to close, the city can still survive and do well with that. We opened the Myers. You saw some pictures of that. And they gave donations right out of the gate to 5 nonprofits, including our own fire department. We have the Foundry Social and high voltage indoor karting. You'll see that shortly there. And that's become a great place for people to gather, the community to gather, as well as to have some corporate meetings. They have very large rooms that can accommodate a large number of people. Ravago was looking for a place near the railroad. You'll see that coming up here shortly, and they needed railroad access. So by creating a spur, they built a 500,000 square foot Belgium-owned plant, and they roughed in another 500,000 square feet. That's it right there. And they store many times 40 to 45 rail cars off the normal track, do their processes. Some goes out by rail, some goes out by truck. Carlisle Brake and Friction closed their Oklahoma plant and brought all those jobs to Medina, and they were so impressed with the processes of doing that, they brought their corporate offices to Medina shortly thereafter from Northeast Ohio. The Legacy and Convention Center is well underway in the city, and that is going to be another great addition for us. That's the groundbreaking there. And that way we're bringing people in instead of for a day for an event or a day for a wedding on our square for multiple days and letting them enjoy our community besides just the original reason they came. Gabyak Trucking moved in on Progress Drive. This is a family that moved to the United States from the Ukraine in 1999, and it's a logistics company, and they move product that comes in on the West Coast all across the country. AI Root Candle is operating with the 5th generation and going strong. And last but not least, Sandwich Crafted Foods, has had 3 expansions in my tenure as mayor, and they're currently on their 3rd generation operating the company as well. Standard Welding is on their 4th generation. And then McJack Candy is one of the largest candy manufacturers in the country. And McJack Candy makes specialty candies, lollipops, and Christmas candy that many of us are familiar with. And again, they send that throughout the country. So finding solutions. What I've tried to do for the past 16 years is remove any obstacles that were possible and find workable solutions. So this is just an example of that. We were notified by the governor's office when the COVID issues hit that all of the businesses were going to have to shut down, be shut down, no questions asked, including City Hall, which did not sit well with me because we're a public-oriented business. It's hard to help the public if the public can't come inside. But what we did immediately, it was either the day after the order or the next day in the morning, we agreed to put signs for the carryout at every restaurant that was interested and had the city seal to show that it was legitimate. The people could park at the curb and they would send the employees out with their mask to deliver it outside. They either pay it online or would pay at the curb there and get that taken care of. That's a picture of the Zoom meetings we went to. We also began to display our own meetings. That's an example of that on YouTube and Facebook. And more recently, we've added Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, and Android. We maintain the social distancing. We remodeled this entire rotunda area. We still call it the rotunda. rotunda, but you all remember what it was when it was sunk 3 feet down, and the walls around with benches. The advantage of all of these things, the technology, is that now the public can take part in these meetings without physically being here. They can watch it, they can send in questions, they can see what's going on with their government. So again, out of a problem, we created many of these solutions. This is our vehicle maintenance department. They handle all the equipment in the city, from weed whackers to mowers to garbage trucks to our safety forces vehicles. This is one of our fire trucks there on a lift, you see. Those new lifts that we purchased down there can lift the entire vehicle, make it safer for our workers. And they give our safety force vehicles a priority. It's also more cost effective to do it in-house than it is to contract this out, the hourly rate that we're paying. And they're very innovative, the mechanics down there. They figured out how to move the head wall of the pool with no water in there, when generally those head walls only move with water. And they were renovating the inside of the pool. They developed steel rollers to make that work. This is a renovation of the 1969 courthouse on the square. For the public that may not be familiar, it's the east side of the square with the white pillars. We're renovating that for the municipal court purposes. We worked with the county to establish a long-term lease. We still have the ability to share security in the holding areas, and this solution, we're hoping, is going to be good for them for at least the next 50 years. And again, it creates some efficiencies instead of us duplicating this a block and a half away, having to pay for security or holding areas by doing it along with the county. And then throughout my tenure as mayor, we've worked on numerous road projects, water line improvements, and infrastructure repairs. You're going to see some photos of that in just a second here. In fact, most recently, just outside of the 100 block of West Liberty there, that's the photos of it there. We had a very old water line, close to 100 years old, and we got it all dug out. Right now, it's kind of patched, and some people, are concerned we're going to leave it like that. Our plan is in the next couple weeks, we're going to resurface that entire lane where it was dug up, and it'll be back to what it was before we started the project. In fact, a little bit newer, because it's going to be a brand new surface. I'm proud of the collaborations that we have here in the city. And we have numerous ones. The Friends of the Cemetery is where we're starting. Amos Mears, some people may not be familiar with that name, but Amos Mears actually in the 1950s built all of the industry on the west side of town there. I shouldn't say he built. He designed it, and he worked with Simmons Brothers Construction for everything along Lake Road and that entire commercial or industrial development there. And then his son ended up down in Texas, had a large ranch down there, and he ended up making a large donation to the Spring Grove Cemetery. So now the cemetery has that money to use to couple with the cities to help with improvements, such as the mausoleum, columbarium walls. Medina County has been a great collaborator with us. They helped with the courthouse, as I said, negotiating a lease that was acceptable to the city and acceptable to them to double the size of our municipal court. I shared with you just a minute ago that they attend our ribbon cuttings, at least one of them, sometimes all three. And a lot of people aren't aware, but the square itself is actually owned by the county, and we had a 99-year lease for that. Main Street Medina, I know Manfred is here tonight as the associate director, but what they've done is make Medina a destination. That's what we ask them to do. We want more and more events. We want to draw more and more people in, and they've really made Medina a destination. Sometimes the traffic is a bit of a challenge, as we've all experienced, but in the same respect, for our businesses that are doing so well and bringing in outside money, it's worked well. Medina City Schools we've collaborated with for years. Jim's been a big help with that. When they built the rec center, it was done with the high school renovation. Our Medina TV operations are there. We share the civil service office. When the city bids for salt, concrete, or aggregate, we share that bid price with the schools. And when the schools bid for copy paper, because they buy much more than the city does, we can ride on their bid. So we're all saving tax dollars just by working together. That photo you saw of the officer with the canine, the school was able to get a grant. The high school got a grant for a third canine for the police department. And then we got one of the foundations, the Lincoln Foundation, paid for a car for that canine. And then the school helped design the exterior of that car. And that's why one of them has more of the school colors than the normal police markings. It's not used for traffic. It's used for the school resource officer, and it's a take-home car because they take the dog home. We did pickleball courts at the middle school, most recently with the schools. Townships, we have a great deal of collaboration. When I was the chief, we negotiated our police department as a regional dispatch center for Medina Township and Montville Township. And Montville Township, we were already providing fire for, and we added Lafayette Township. And then the police contract for services in Lafayette Township, and we saved tax dollars with each of them. So that was Murray and Sue Van Epp again. They've donated nearly $100,000 in my tenure as mayor. I shared some of those earlier with you. The Medina Lions Club helps support the Miracle League field. The Feckley Foundation has given over $171,000 to the city in my term as mayor. The Medina Morning Rotary did the 9/11 memorial. The Stevenson Foundation has donated, in my tenure as mayor, $734,000 in different projects. The Lincoln Foundation has donated over $2.4 million in local projects. And the Park Foundation, which we just talked about at the finance department, has donated $100,000 in two $50,000 increments to the police department and $150,000 in three $50,000 increments to the fire department. And what that paid for in fire, the first two increments, was the blood testing for our staff to get early detection of precursors of possible cancer, which is a great thing for our employees. I've established a great relationship with our local churches, and now the churches have all collaborated together. That's a video of the National Day of Prayer, but they have numerous services they all do together and do at the different churches instead of at the same church over and over. Martin Luther King, Black History, National Day of Prayer, the Unity Festival, the Veterans Concert, the Love Medina program, annual Juneteenth celebration. They also assist with special needs and senior citizens when they just need a little bit of help. The Ken Cleveland Foundation, that's the Ken Cleveland Park right there, and the foundation just paid for all brand new playground equipment that you see there. And the Breakfast Kiwanis took care of the jump playground landscaping, and they also host the annual Medina County Sports Hall of Fame. And the Noon Kiwanis has the Christmas shopping program that Jim's involved with, Arbor Day trees to third graders, and they have a 50th anniversary couples luncheon every year to recognize the couples in Medina County who have reached that pinnacle. So who we are. This is some video of Chimney Rock after Hurricane Helene went through there, along with Mayor O'Leary, who came up to Medina. And I had a chance to spend some one-on-one time with the mayor. And I got the sense from him that it was so overwhelming looking at what they had to what they were left with and trying to bring that back to life. And I shared with him, it's a challenge for sure, not during my time, but the city has experienced in its past 2 fires that devastated our public square. So think about what you want to see the future become. You can work through this just like the city of Medina did. The Promise of Christmas was organized by Mark and Dana Claus from Castle Noel. Mark had this vision in his head about bringing these families up for their own little Christmas in January of 2025. And he wanted to know if the city could support him. And I said, well, I need to get it out of your head and down on paper, and then we'll involve the Chamber, Main Street, and the Visitors Bureau. And we all got together and hosted that event, and it worked out very well for us. We had the parade, we had the fireworks, and just 2 quick notes on that. One child told me when I was down at the dinner for them that they stayed all night from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. just to watch the snowflakes come down past the lights, because that was important to them. Another young man was walking around, and he always had his hand on his right ear. And I thought it was just kind of a nervous action that he did, particularly in crowds. Here I come to find out, at the very end, before they were going to get on the buses the next morning, they gave them all tours of Castle Noel, let them all go down the slides, and then depending on their age and their sex, they had rows of bags for every child and family to take. In addition, the money they gave them at the inaugural family dinner. And here that boy, of all the bags on the floor, grabs a bag with a brand new set of headsets that he had been looking at online and couldn't afford. So just good examples of what happened. We celebrated our solar eclipse on April 8th of 2024. Shortly before that, June of 2022, the city was a host for the Great Race, and that's where they brought all these cars that go a certain distance, and they stop different places for lunch and different places for overnight. So in a moment, you're going to see some of these cars rolling through on Weymouth there, close to Union Street, that we were able to capture. And at the end of that entire race, wherever the ending point is, they have a dinner then for everybody together, and they select some of the things that they enjoyed. And our city was selected as the best lunch stop of all the different places they had been through during that race. We hosted in July of 2020 Miss Wheelchair USA recognition. Again, this was in the middle of the COVID, so you'll see all the young ladies have their masks on. I'm more than 6 feet away from them, so and I needed to talk, but we were happy to host that. We have a robust farmers market each Saturday from May to October. In 2018, we celebrated the city's bicentennial with year-long events. Every month we had another event. And the city has also received multiple awards and recognition for the positive work of the city, from the Building Department Award, from the bicentennial, from having our gazebo in the Rose Bowl parade. The list goes on and on. We won't take time to watch all of those, but it's a real testament to the city, all that we've accomplished. Next is finance. When I took over as mayor in 2010, the income tax collections, obviously the last full year was 2009, and we had collected $12,409,000. And during my campaign for mayor, I had made a commitment that we were going to increase the amount of income tax for the city, and that's what you see we collected in 2024. is a little over 21 million, or a 70% increase. And it was important to me that we increase, because we know the cost of operating the city goes up and up and up. And I didn't want to raise the income tax rate, nor did I perceive that council would want to. So the only other way to do that is improve city services, how we treat people, how we handle things, so people want to move here, live here, have their business here, expand their business in the city. And that 70% difference that you're seeing there is a result of that, that we've been able to accomplish. And a lot of the credit goes to the Community Development Department for being able to manage that increase in processes to get these projects turned over so the contractors can go to the next one, so the property values rise and we all benefit from that. Then I just want to take a few minutes to talk about each of the staff members. The department heads are really the key under me. Dan's been praised at ribbon cuttings. He's excellent at finding solutions versus obstacles. And he got the Building Standards Award for us out of all the other building departments in the state. Jared Fry and Miles helped with the State of the City presentations. They were very instrumental in the changes to City Hall, the remodel and website update and redesign. I didn't want to leave the council out. None of these accomplishments mentioned with each department could be achieved without the support and approval of council as the appropriating and the job creating authority. And again, I want to thank you for the diplomacy and the cooperative nature that we've been able to succeed in for 16 years. Kimberly Marshall is our Economic Development Director, and she's been responsible for applying for and getting approved for $4.5 million in grants for various projects, job creation, new business attraction, and these also resulted in a raise in the income tax. She serves on a number of state and local boards. Patrick in engineering, Pat Patton, he oversaw the construction of 2 parking decks, the North Court widening, the State Route 18 widening. We replaced every industrial road, residential streets, and water lines, not all of those. Water tower paintings, maintenance, and renovation of the 69 courthouse. Keith Durham has been very cooperative as our finance director with me to keep the finance window open from 8 to 5. So it doesn't do any good to pull a permit if you can't pay for it, and assist with budget prep and keeping the city fiscally sound. Chief Walters from the fire department. We had daytime staffing Monday through Friday when I took over as mayor. He expanded to second shift staffing, weekend staffing for day and second shift. And just this past February, we went to 24/7 staffing with part-time people. Only fire department to accomplish same. And I thank the chief, and you've done a great job in moving the department forward. Law Director Huber represents the agencies from 2/3 of Medina County in the municipal court, handles lawsuits, civil issues for the city, reviews all contracts and agreements that we enter into, and he's also the airport manager. Parks and Rec, Jansen, when he was promoted to Parks Director, I asked him to take over cemetery and forestry as well, to give Nino a little less to oversee. And then thereafter, when our Rec Director resigned during COVID, he took that over, and all 4 divisions are doing excellent as a result of his leadership. Planning and zoning, Andrew Dutton, numerous new builds and projects that came through our boards and commissions, again, to raise property tax and income tax through the job creations. And he and Greg have also had trainings for each of our boards and commissions to make sure people are following what the code says and not their personal beliefs. Chief Kinney has reinvigorated our community policing efforts, very collaborative with other police agencies. He's preparing staff for future advancements. Sometimes with warrants, the department doesn't want to come and get the people, so we'll take the people to them because we don't want these problem people in our community either. And he did graduate from the FBI National Academy. Nino, what can I say? Nino's been a staple and a calming force through all these challenges. He handles streets, sanitation, water, and vehicle maintenance. He's also the go-to person for utilities, resident concerns, contractor concerns, and there's nothing he won't do. Tracy is my administrative assistant. She took over, reorganized my entire office, agendas. I still don't know where things are. She's very organized. She keeps me on schedule, and she also shields me. Sometimes people think that the mayor is the only person for the city when the dog next door is barking, or the ice cream truck is too loud, or some of those things. She does a great job, because otherwise I'd have to work about 36 hours a day to handle each and every one of the calls. So these are a couple photos of the grandchildren over the years. This is Madison when she was young. She's 9, and my grandson Aiden there is 5 now. And I think of how blessed they are to be in the Medina City schools, to be in a place where it's safe and the health care. But it also reminds me, in my 44 years of public safety, that not all the children in our community are that fortunate. So I would just implore the council and the department heads that we continue to look out for those that are food insecure, that are financially insecure, and that may come from problem homes, because they still need our care. And then in closing, I just want to thank the council, the department heads, and the public for your support, and ask that God may bless each of you and your families. It's been my honor. Thank you.